In this lesson, we're going to talk extensively about text tools. Come down here under the tool listings, you'll find this text tool right here. What we have here is we have the font type, the font height, that's in the units, and bold, italic, everything. Simple text, no formatting. Line spacing, 1. Line spacing, you can change that to any other number if you want greater line spacing, and the angle of the text. The angle of the text is how it's going to be rotated when it's placed on the drawing area. And also down here we have the alignment. It's justified top left, top right, top center, all these options here. Up here we have redo, undo, all the typical tools, cut and paste. We have some unusual tools here we're going to get into, including the ability to add these symbols quite easily. The other way we're going to talk about text is when we place a dimension. And we'll use this point right here and we'll snap to grids. And you notice as soon as we select dimensions up here we have a text box. We're going to talk about ways of adding subscripts and superscripts to this text box, plus the ability to add symbols. Another important text consideration has to do with layers. If you have text of varying heights, you probably want to put each text height on a different layer. That way you can select the height just by selecting the layer. So let's get on with this lesson and learn how to manipulate text. So let's add some text to this leader line. So we come over and select the text tool. Brings up the text window with some previous stuff I had in there. And we use an example. We want A to be up and B to be down. We want A to be superscript, B to be subscript. We also want to put some text. We want to put a symbol down at the end. So we're going to come here and click on this, pick one of these tools, one of these symbols I should say. We'll just pick this delta symbol. Notice if we click on others, we can go over here and pick up all the symbols and all the fonts in the system. So we'll just use one of these symbols right here, this delta symbol. Now I got to raise this to superscript. All I do is come over here and highlight it, click on superscript, lower this one down to a subscript, click on subscript. Now we take a look down here to source. So we have the text example letters, then we got the syntax was backslash capital S, and then whatever text you want. In this case the text is an A. Then a caret sign means you're going to do a subscript. In this case the text would be just the letter B. Placing a semicolon here terminates that syntax which describes the superscript and the subscript. Now you obviously don't have to have a subscript, you just have the superscript by itself. If you just did this, then it would give us the superscript by itself. If you want a subscript also, then you have to do the @ sign, and then whatever you want in a subscript, which we decided was going to be the letter B. So that's what the source code looks like. The actual text looks similar to this, but there's one exception. Notice this B is not underneath the A. They should be stacked, but they're not stacked, and I don't know why. That's how the program works. You just have to accept it. When we place it, it will be stacked. So let's go ahead and place that example. Alright, so we're going to change the angle to 0. We'll place the text right here. It's snapping right now. Let's freehand it. Put the text right there. And right click escapes that command. We'll go ahead and view everything. And we'll zoom in on this area. Notice our text is as we expected. The A is on top of the B, even though over here in the window it's not. Just remember, it will be stacked when you return back to the drawing. It is stacked, and there's a symbol after it. So that's how we would add text using the text tool. In this case, we place the text adjacent to the leader as shown here. Next we're going to use our dimensioning tool. We're going to select aligned. We'll snap it to the grids. We're going to place our first point right here. Notice up here, now we have a text box here. We'll show you all the things we can do with that. We can also select the prefix symbol. We'll put a space in there. We'll do less than, greater than, which means include the text dimensioning. Put a space in there. We'll put in some of our own text. TBD. Put a space in that. And we want to do subscripts and superscripts, so we'll do backslash, capital S, and then whatever the superscript would be, we'll say tree. Then we'll use the caret symbol. We'll type in leaf, L-E-A-F. Then we put in a semicolon, and that will complete that. Now, where am I getting this from? Well, if you right-click in the text box, notice we have insert symbol here. It tells you the measured value is within those two braces, the upper greater than, less than. It also tells you the actual syntax to stack something, stack two things up on top of each other. Like we said in the text window, you can just use the upper or the lower by itself also. So now we'll go over and we'll place this imaginary measurement tool. I'm just measuring grid spacing basically right now. So we'll place the other end of the measurement, so the second extension line. Now the dimension line location, we'll put it right there. We'll go ahead and take a peek at it, zoom in on it. And notice we're capable of providing a prefix, the actual dimension itself, the text TBD, and the text tree above the text leaf. So we did in fact do all these things that we wanted to do. Another way to edit text is to use the property editor. Here I'm going to select the dimension. I'm going to select the property editor. And notice right down here it's got the superscript, the subscript, and the text itself. I can go in here and type and add things, delete things, whatever I want to do. So it's easy to edit text in a dimension right here using a property editor. Also, if we select a true text value that was typed with the text editor, you also can edit it right here. Do anything I want to with it. I can add spaces, whatever I want to do. So you can also easily edit text that's already placed on the drawing by using the property editor once you select that particular text. If you take a close look at the subscript leaf, you will find a plus-minus symbol after the letter F. I left this on purpose, and your task is to find out how did that get in there. It's not a program bug, it's something I did during the lesson. Let's go back and review that area and see what I did to cause this problem. So this concludes the lesson on editing text.